Well, welcome back. This is the final part of this mini-series about the Book of Sirach that I wanted to do specifically about the Book of Sirach, this very mysterious book that is part of the Catholic Bible. Today, to conclude this series, I would like to read two passages, one from chapter 10 and one from chapter 15. The first one for chapter 10 is about the sin of pride, from verse number 6. No matter what the wrong, never harm your neighbor, or go the way of arrogance. Odious to the Lord and to mortals is pride, and for both oppression is a crime. Sovereignty is transferred from one people to another because of the lawlessness of the proud. Why are dust and ashes proud? Even during life the body decays. A slight illness, the doctor jests. A king today, tomorrow he is dead. The beginning of pride is stubbornness in withdrawing the heart from one's maker. Very beautiful and very expressive as always, especially why are dust and ashes proud? We are all dust and ashes. The second part from chapter 15 is about human free will, and it goes like this. God in the beginning created human beings and made them subject to their own free choice. If you choose, you can keep the commandments. Loyalty is doing the will of God. Set before you are fire and water. To whatever you choose, stretch out your hand. Before everyone are life and death. Whichever they choose will be given them. Immense is the wisdom of the Lord, mighty in power, he sees all things. The eyes of God behold his works, and he understands every human deed. He never commands anyone to sin, nor shows leniency toward deceivers. So, in having briefly read and researched the Book of Sirach, I ask myself this question, and I ask you this question as well. What is that one thing that is really missing in this book? What is the one thing that we are used to in our world, in today's world, and it is so starkly missing in from the Book of Sirach? I believe that is moral relativism, which in today's world seems to be almost a new religion. If you believe that morality depends exclusively on one's time, place, or culture, that basically there is no universal objective morality, then you are a moral relativist. You don't deny that there are moral rules, but what you do believe is that these rules are nothing more than your own society's ethical code, the local ethical code, which may be different, but no better or worse than the ethical code of any other society. And under this worldview, everything and anything keeps rolling over and transforming in one thing into another without any meaning, just like in Ovid's Metamorphoses. The reasoning behind today's moral relativism are mainly two. The first one is that there is just too much diversity on moral issues, both in and across cultures, in observing the world. And the second one is that it is intolerant to believe that one's moral view is universally true, that is objectively true, and that the moral views of others are wrong. The first argument is the perfect self-refuting argument. Why? Because in order for the argument from disagreement to work, the moral relativist must assume that whenever there is disagreement on any issue, there is no universal objective truth on that matter. And so you can say to the moral relativist, I disagree with this proposition that whenever there is disagreement on any issue, there is no universal objective truth. But this means that we can reject the proposition on its own ground. That's what philosophers generally call a self-refuting claim. The second one, the argument from tolerance, is a little bit trickier, especially in our society today. Some people argue that because it is intolerant to believe that your moral views are right and the moral views of others are wrong, then it follows that moral relativism is the thing that best establishes tolerance. But if you say this, you are at least establishing one absolute moral principle, which is that one of tolerance. And in that case, you are no more a relativist because you're accepting one absolute moral code. Second, relativism does not need to lead to tolerance. In fact, it doesn't. In fact, somebody could say, although I believe that all morality is culturally relative, I prefer my culture's morality to all others. And therefore, I want my nation to, for example, ban all immigrants from other cultures, including yours. Third, the practice of tolerance seems valuable because it establishes certain goods, such as living at peace with others and better understanding those with whom we disagree. But these goods seem to be functioning as if they were part of some universal objective morality, which is exactly what moral relativism is there to deny the existence of, which is inconsistent with moral relativism. In conclusion, these are just a couple of thoughts and comments about the Book of Sirach, a book that would deserve a much deeper, much more serious research and study than what this mini-series on YouTube has been from my side. But in any case, I'm very grateful for your interest and your support. Thanks so much for watching, and who knows that we can maybe continue with another beautiful book of the Bible. There are many.